Welcome to Pro Power Hour. This is something that we do every Thursday, and it is probably the most valuable webinar that you can attend and make time for. We will go deep into one specific product, or one specific feature and just go all over it, answer any questions that we've seen in the group, answer any questions that you guys have here. Um, and we have Phil. He's from our onboarding team. He does this every day, all the time, with all kinds of different companies. So he knows the software inside and out and has seen all kinds of different scenarios. So he's very well qualified to be teaching us today. Okay, thanks, Phil. Take it away.
Absolutely. Hello again. Welcome everybody who is new to Pro Power Hour, and welcome back to everybody who has been joining us. Um, so yeah, if you caught up with us last week, we were kind of talking about sending out reminders and things like that. A lot of more of the manual side of our office staff reaching out to our customers. And so this week we're going to focus more on the automation side. So what can Housecall Pro do for you to give you more time back in your day? Um, we're still getting to where we want to be with a lot of automations. So what I'm going to show today is going to be some stuff you've probably seen before, some stuff that's been with the platform for a while, but we still are continuing to make improvements and add more automations, again, to give you time back in your day. As usual, we're going to go through a slide deck. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about these automations, and then I'll go ahead and demo where you can find to turn on some of these automations and customize them. And then lastly, we'll leave some time for any questions that you all have. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So got my slideshow ready.
Oh, do you want me to share? Okay, you got it. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, for our agenda first, we're going to start talking about some of the text messages that go out and the automations you can set up for that. Excuse me. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the pipeline, the automations that come through with the pipeline, marketing campaigns, how you can go ahead and automate your marketing campaigns to constantly have that outreach to your customers. We'll talk a little bit about the invoice reminders and auto invoicing. That's been with us for a while, but just a refresher on that. And a little bit about the customer portal, where we can go ahead and get customers set up with their customer portal. And also we have some slides to kind of introduce you all to the upcoming auto convert on estimates. That's been a big one from you all, so we're excited that that's going to be coming out at some point. So let's go ahead and take a look at our job text and reminders. So I'm sure everybody is aware, anyone that's gone through onboarding with my team, one of the first things we do on our intro call is set you up for your text messaging. So with your text messaging, once we schedule a job, that's going to automatically trigger an email to be sent to the customer, letting them know that a job has been booked. Now, I say that there is a little nuance to it. In the office, you can decide whether you want to send out, whether you want to have that message be sent out or not. But for the default, it is always going to be sent. There is also a place for a job reminder text. So the day of the job, you can have a text message be sent out to the customer, just reminding them about their appointment. It goes out at 9 a.m. and that is on your time. So if you are on the East Coast, it's 9 o'clock at your time. If you're on the West Coast, that is 9 o'clock your time. So just want to clarify that there is no confusion. It will always go out at 9 o'clock. There is also the ability to customize that reminder text with job details, technician name, date and time, company info. So you can go ahead and customize that to say what you want it to say. And the last bit right there just kind of explains where to go to do this. I'm going to demo it anyway as we get through our session today. So the next thing is the pipeline overview. We have done a session before on the pipeline, so I strongly recommend that you go ahead and watch that session if you want to get all of the ins and outs of the pipeline. I'm not going to go in depth of everything about the pipeline today, again, because we already have done a session on this, but I always tell everybody I talk to when they ask about the pipeline, there are really two things that I talk about, and one of them is the automations. So we're going to go through that, where you can set up those automations for your estimates as well as your jobs. Your estimates will be able to send out reminders basically saying, hey, can you go ahead and approve this so we can get started on our work? And for anybody that, or for the jobs, it's going to be reminders when you have a job that is unscheduled, basically telling them, hey, we're trying to get you booked, so let's get you on the schedule. Um, Yep, here's another little bit about the pipeline automations. So why use these automations? One is efficiency. Um, I always tell pros is that one of our big mottos over here, as you've heard me say it several times already, is giving you time back in your day. So setting up these pipeline automations to the parameters that you want to have them set to, they will just go ahead and start going off on their own, so you don't have to worry about it. There's also the consistency side of it. Because you do set it up as a default, you're again not sitting there every day trying to figure out what you want to say. You do it one time and let us do the rest for you. Then there's also organization. I've talked to a lot of pros that have come over from pen and paper or do things more manually. So they have a lot of these templates everywhere. Now with the pipeline automations, you can essentially put those templates into the automation side so that, again, we're going to do the work for you. Now, the Marketing Center, another thing that we have gone over in the past, so I strongly recommend you all dig into the library and take a look at the Marketing Center. I went over all the ins and outs of that Marketing Center so you can figure out how to best market your company. But in terms of automations, very similar to the basic marketing that a lot of people are familiar with our advanced marketing, you are also able to set up your drip campaigns. Um, we're going to see is essentially the trigger starts when a job is finished, and you can go ahead and have a text message be sent, or you can have an email be sent. And then you can go ahead and set up your time frame of when you want the next email or the next text
Oh,
message to go
hey
out.
Phil,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. There's somebody who's saying that there's two people saying they can't see anything on the screen. Guys, so up at the top, there's Phil's screen. There should be like a webinar where you can see Phil's face and then in his camera, and then the other tab where you can see what he's screen sharing. Okay.
Yeah, I'm seeing some people are seeing everything.
Yep. Okay, I think that maybe you're like tabbed over where you're just only seeing his camera. Okay. All right, everybody
Oh,
else is good. Well, don't worry.
yeah.
This is recorded. We are going to be sending out the recording for anyone who's missing anything.
Yes, absolutely. And also, you can find all these in the Help Center. So if you want to watch it later, you can always catch up there. I'm sure one of us will post that during the session today. Um, so yeah, as I was mentioning with the Marketing Center, really those text messages, emails, you'll set them up in your campaign flow. We will go ahead and set one up today so you can see how that looks. Then there is also the invoice auto reminders. So with these, this has been with our system for a while. Everyone who's been with us for a while has probably used this at some point, but essentially, very similarly, you can set up a frequency. So whenever we send off an invoice, we can choose to have a timeline. So if we want, let's say 5 reminders to go out to this customer, we can have one reminder go out, or I'm sorry, we can have those reminders go out, let's say every 3 days or every other day, so that way the system is essentially reaching out to your customer trying to get you paid, so you're not spending your time on the phone. But once those reminders are done, then it's probably most likely you're going to want to get on the phone. Then there is the auto invoice feature. I always show this to every pro that I onboard. This is, in my understanding from when I've been talking with a lot of you, is mostly used for people who have commercial accounts. Because what this allows you to do is similarly, you can set up a frequency. In this example, we have yearly. I always use the example of monthly, and we'll take a look at it together when I demo, but you can see on here is you can set up that frequency. And when you want this um, automation to repeat itself. So I always use monthly, repeat every month, repeat, let's say on the first day of every month, so that way with those commercial accounts on the first day of every month, they will get a summary of all of their outstanding invoices so that they can go ahead and pay it all in one lump. So again, really useful for the commercial accounts. Most of the residential companies I've talked to usually don't do this because they just kind of get paid COD. And then there's also the customer portal. We also did a session on this before, but for the customer portal, that is where the customer can go ahead and see all of the jobs, see all of their upcoming appointments. They can see all their past invoices, any ones that are due, and they can also see what service agreements they're on. We'll take a quick look, but also, yeah, a couple of other things, the online payments, appointment tracking, service requests, estimates, job history. And we can set it up so that whenever we send a document to a customer, we can have them log into their customer portal, or we can go ahead and opt out of that if you're a company that deals with has more of a client base that is not very tech savvy or is using computers. And then, yeah, here's a little slide that is upcoming. We want to kind of get you all interested in it now. I'm super excited for it because I get this question all the time. Is being able to auto convert estimates into a job. This isn't released yet, so I haven't really gotten a chance to get my hands on it. But really, the idea is that you can automate the creation of jobs by defaulting the conversion process from estimate to job. I'm sure everyone is familiar with the copy to job button on every single estimate, but this is going to go ahead and remove that for you so that we can just go ahead and have the job be, or I'm sorry, the estimate be copied to a job after the customer approves it. So enough of the slide deck and the information. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this looks and how we set it up. So I'm going to move this over here so I can have a little guide. And the first thing is the job text reminders. So with that, if we go to our account settings, and if we scroll down, there is going to be the option for jobs. And within jobs, there is going to be the section for job reminders. So right here, this is where you can start setting up those reminders. You can set up text reminders. My account doesn't have the text messaging because I would need an EIN. But if you do have it, you will be able to go ahead and make changes to that job reminder text. As we can see, mine just has a quick preview of, hi, customer, tech, first name, last name from Phil's Big Company is scheduled to arrive at this date and this time. We can always click on the pencil here and make any changes. And then down below, we have the customer notification settings. I also get questions about the notifications all the time that go to the customer. So if you are somebody that wants to override the system and have these reminders go to people that do not, that have notifications turned off, you can always hit the switch. Otherwise, we can just leave this off, or I usually train my people to go ahead and just turn off those the checkboxes on each customer. That way, so if you ever come into this situation, you can always override it. Right. And then the next thing, we'll take a look at the pipeline. So for pipeline automations, again, went through everything about the pipeline, but as you can see, there's really just automations and customizing the boards. So we made it really easy for you to go ahead and get into those automations. And as we can see, we have automations for our leads, we have automations for our estimates, as well as our jobs. So for lead automation, when another question I get all the time, and I'm sure somebody will bring it up, is the difference between a lead and an estimate. I always say a lead is best used if you are a company that has a sales team that is consistently reaching out to customers to close deals. The example I always use is I want to put a pool in my backyard and I'm shopping around looking for a price and looking for someone to do it. I want to get something from you, but I'm still shopping around. That would be a lead. An estimate would be someone goes up to you and I say, I'm going to put a pool in my backyard. I want you all to do it, and I want to know how much that costs. Leads only come in if you have the pipeline feature or if you have the VoIP feature as well. So I've worked with a lot of people that have asked, well, where are my leads? Again, that is part of the tier and part of what's included with your account. Again, VoIP and pipeline get you the leads. So with the leads here, it says, if I'm going to look at this first automation, it says when a lead status is in first contact for 1 day, you can customize that 3 days, 5 days, a week, a month, whatever. You can add a condition to it. So if you want to only reach out to specific customers with these automations, you can certainly set that up. And you can choose to send a text message, an email, or both to the customer for these reminders. And underneath there is the customized message. All right, so I had a text message. Let's do both. So if you have your text messaging turned on at the top up here, you would be able to go ahead and make your adjustments to your text message, similarly to how we have it down here for our email. We already have something that's typed out for you, but you can always come on in here, customize it any way you want. I always tell everybody is remember to use the variables. So, because people sometimes will put in the customer name and then come back to me and ask why every customer is getting John Smith. So make sure you use the variables for customer name, employee names, company phone, all of that good stuff. And then you can choose what happens next after this automation happens. So generally, a lot of people will go ahead and send it to the second contact. And again, we also have the checkbox here to alert customers that have notifications turned off. So we're going to see this on all the leads, but just for, or I'm sorry, for all of the automations. But for the leads right here, it's really focusing on getting in touch with that customer again, so our salespeople can go ahead and close the job, or I'm sorry, yeah, close the project so we can get an estimate or start a work order. And I always tell people essentially, Housecall is going to reach out to all of your customer or reach out to these customers 3 times. And let me switch this up to first contact. Oh, wow. The default is that this is going to be first contact. And when we look at our pipeline and we look at our leads, we can see that when it gets contacted, it's going, or when the automation happens, our ticket is going to move into first contact. When the next automation hits, and I'm kind of going back and forth here, but my second automation is when a ticket is in, it's supposed to be first contact. I really got to fix this, but when it says in first contact for X amount of days, we can then resend that text message, resend that email, and then move it to the next stage. So, so we'll see our ticket consistently moving down the pipeline as the automations happen. And I always coach people is once it hits this third contact, again, when you're looking at the pipeline, each ticket down below gives you the last time this ticket, project, customer was reached out to. So I always tell people is when you start looking at your third contact and it starts filling up, you can take a look at when the last time that customer was contacted. Generally, I would get on the phone, call the customer. I'm just going to open this in another window. That might be easier. All right. Oh, a couple of other things down at the bottom is really just automations in place. They don't really deal with your customer. It's more about cleaning up your pipeline. I get questions all the time of how long do things stay in the pipeline. It's really up to you. You just set up your automations. Again, so you don't have to do it manually. We want to go ahead and clean up your pipeline so you don't run into the scenario of where you have all of these finished jobs and the column just goes on forever with, thousands of your jobs. So we can go ahead and set up if a lead is lost, basically saying that if a lead is in that third contact column, we've tried reaching out to them several times, the system is reaching out, and we haven't gotten any movement, we can go ahead and set up that automation for how many days we want it to sit in the system before we mark it as lost. And then there's archive items. So when an item, when something gets lost, or one of these leads is lost, or one of them is won, it will go into the corresponding column over here. And again, just to clean up your pipeline, you can go ahead and set up when you want things to be archived. Now, archive just means it's still in your system, but we're just going to pull it off of your pipeline. So I get people asking me all the time, well, where do they all go when they get archived? It's over here. There's an option for archived items. You can always go in and look at any past work, any past leads or estimates. So that was with the leads. If we go over to estimates, I kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier, but kind of the same functionality. We can have Housecall reach out 3 times on your behalf. And again, this is really for when we send an estimate to a customer and we're trying to get them to approve or decline it. There's just being no movement, so we want to be able to reach out to them and get them to approve or decline, give us some kind of response. Similarly, you can go ahead, create the text message or create the email using the variables, or at the top up here, we do have the AI that write it for me, so you can give it a little bit of a prompt and we'll go ahead and do the rest for you. Similarly, we have the first follow-up, second follow-up, third follow-up. So again, we'll reach out to your customers 3 times on your behalf. And I always coach people is once it hits that third attempt, that's when we should get on the phone and give that customer a call. Estimates that are marked as declined, similarly to the leads, after a while, we're waiting, and there's no response, customer's gone MIA. We can go ahead and set up an automation that after a certain amount of time, we can go ahead and just mark that estimate as declined. And that will go ahead and move it to the next step, which is for estimates. We'll have those archived items. So whether an estimate status is approved or rejected, we can go ahead and set up a time frame. I've got 7 days. Some people put 30 days or however X amount of days you want, and it will go ahead and archive those. And then lastly, for the jobs, we have, as I mentioned, time to schedule. So any of these unscheduled jobs that are sitting in that section, we'll go ahead and reach out to them. Similarly, you can customize the text message, email, and when the estimate has been paid and has a $0 balance, that would be our next archived item. Again, going ahead and clean up your pipeline. And when an invoice has been paid, we'll go ahead and move it. It's basically 2 of the same functionalities here. One thing I do want to call out though, while we're in here, I've noticed that just about every account that gets the pipeline, there is this switch here for use smart recommendations. I've noticed that this is always turned on when you enroll into pipeline. So if you are new to the system or new to the pipeline, kind of one of the things that I strongly recommend is coming in here and actually turning this off, because I've gotten so many calls from people telling me, hey, my customers are getting all these text messages. I have no idea where they're coming from. They're getting upset, whatever the case may be. It's usually the pipeline automations. So I strongly would recommend, if you're new to it and you're still getting used to using it, is to come on in here, turn off these smart recommendations, and then you can either turn them back on, or you can go ahead and customize your own specific automations without turning it back on. All right. So next, let's go ahead and take a look at our marketing center. So up here in the more section, at least for me, people always ask, where's my more button? You may have it, you may not, but if it's usually depends on how you're looking at your screen. I have the more button here, and so there is marketing right there. Okay, so if we're going to go ahead and set up a campaign, I already went through these two on our marketing center session. So if you have more questions and want to see more about sending out those blast emails and text messages, certainly feel free to review the past session. But I'm really going to talk about the campaign flows because this is where the automation really starts to kick in. So with campaign flows, um, as we go through the marketing center, we'll have to select our target customers. So I'm going to select this one here that has all of my customers in it. And we'll go ahead and start to put together what the campaign is going to look like. I'll just go ahead and use this template here and zoom in. So the first trigger is when a job is completed. We can go ahead and add any additional steps. So we can add an email or add a text message to go out as the next step. But as we see in mine, I have a delay of a month. So we can change this. I'm going to say, let's change this to the day. So job is completed. 1 day goes by. I'm going to have this text message go out. I can't really change it. So actually, let's switch this over to an email. Yeah, and we have here I clicked on the thank you template. So that's what I'm going to use. So the day after the job, the customer is going to go ahead and get that thank you email. And what I usually encourage people to do is that for your next step, you can go ahead and add a delay. I already have one as my next step, which is why I wasn't able to select it. But if we turn that off, we can go ahead and add the delay. I think a common one I typically see is like 3 months after that thank you email or thank you text goes out, the next thing I see is another email or a text message that basically does the special offer. We finished work 1 day recently, and maybe 3 months down the road, we want to go ahead and say, hey, sign up for our membership program, receive 10% off your next service. This is how you can start setting up your drip campaigns so that you can have Housecall constantly reaching out to your customers so you don't have to. And you can keep going with that campaign for as long as you want. So you can set up a campaign that runs all year. That's what I've seen a lot of office staff do. So then that way you can put your hands up and say, hey, we don't have to go ahead and reach out to our customers because the system essentially is doing it for us.
And a really common question that I get about this campaign flow is if we were to do another job after that initial job that triggered the campaign, then what happens to that customer in the campaign flow? So the campaign flow would start all over again. That other job has no bearing on the campaign flow. It's just going to run the same campaign flow that it would off the previous job.
Yeah, great call out. Yeah, I was going to mention that as well. But nice job. Yeah, that's really the big question about this. Same thing with the basic marketing. If people are still using that, I'll kind of pivot over to there just to kind of show it. But I think we have plans of where we're kind of pushing everybody towards this marketing here. But for all the people that have been with us for a while, I'm sure you're familiar with the email automations that are here within your apps. Um, Really, as we've been pushing people over to the advanced marketing, is mostly because, as we can see here, after a job is completed, we give you more of a blank canvas. And you can set up your rule on when you want this to go out. And what I've seen is similar to what I have is people set up that frequency just like we did on the campaign flow. So we'll have that thank you email go out the day after the job, that special offer email go out, a month afterwards. But the biggest issue here, which is why we're moving more towards the advanced marketing, is as you can see here, it's very basic. You can't really put any pictures in there. You can't really like make it look really nice. It's really just text. So that's why I strongly encourage people to utilize the advanced marketing, even within its limited capacity. Everybody does get I know I'm going to kind of, I hope I'm not confusing people. There is a basic advanced marketing, and then there is kind of like the basic marketing. But the basic advanced marketing that is included with everybody's plan, so you can at least give it a shot, is that you'll be able to create one campaign flow. Um, if you want to be able to create more campaign flows and be able to send out these blast texts and emails, you're going to have to upgrade or pay for the add-ons of the advanced marketing to get the full suite here.
Right. So like just to clarify, no matter what plan you're on, you can send what's it like 500 emails through your account.
Yeah.
So you don't have to have the, add-on where we were just showing of the campaign flows. It's like $9 on basic, 19 on essentials, 49 on max, and then 89 on max plus for the marketing center.
Yep. Um, yeah, you can, if you are interested in the Marketing Center, I know you can always go to the marketing tab here, and there is a place, as you can see, even for add-on. There's usually an add-on place. If you don't see that, you can always reach out to the blue chat bubble here saying, I want the Marketing Center, put me in touch with somebody. And one of the success advisors, maybe even Shayna, may reach out to you and give you a call and start getting you onboarded with that. Um, all right. Uh, so that's really it for the marketing center. Um, let's see. The next thing we discussed was invoice reminders. Now, there really isn't too much to this. It's really just in your account settings. Everybody has access to this. As we go to invoices, there's going to be automations right there. So made it real simple for you. And down here, we have send unpaid invoice reminders, and you can go ahead and set up your frequency. So I have every 3 days, send out a reminder. I can have, up to 10 reminders if I want. I think that's a little bit overkill, but some people tell me that they have customers that you really got to kind of reach out to them to get them to pay up. But you can set up that frequency, and same thing if you want it to go out every day, every 2 days, every 30 days is really up to you. Also down below, similar to a lot of the other automations, this is where we can go ahead and set up exclusions. So I've talked to a lot of people where they like the invoice reminders, do a lot of residential work, but might have a couple commercial clients, so they don't really want them getting this stuff. So that's why we have reminder exclusions. So really what I encourage is that you can search for your customers one by one and add them to this list to exclude them. Or what I usually coach people to do is, especially with commercial accounts, if you're a business that doesn't, has kind of 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, is go ahead and put a tag on those on those customers that are commercial or those jobs that are commercial, because really tags help you really help in our system. And here, instead of having to go through each customer one by one, we can just search for a tag, add all those people that are on the commercial tag. That way we're not bothering them sending out reminders.
Yeah, this is awesome. This didn't used to be here. So I don't know when it was added, but I just learned something new because I remember, people having a hard time with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when it came, it's so good.
Yeah, game
Uh,
changer.
um, yeah. And then the next thing we had was the auto invoicing. Now that is based on that is like a per customer kind of thing here. So again, I always use the uh, commercial account. Um, yeah, we'll just use fill test or whatever. But on every customer profile, if we scroll down, there's going to be the option for auto invoicing. And as I mentioned, this window will pop up and you can set up your frequency on when you want to have this summary go out to your customer. Generally, the most common one I see is again with those commercial accounts that usually do billing once a month. So we'll set up monthly, repeat every month. You can even choose which particular day you want it to go out. So I usually say, the first day of the month, or you can go ahead and set up the first specific date of the week. So if you want it to go out on the first Monday, some people like that because, as we know, sometimes the first can fall on a Sunday, and some people might miss that email. So really, the choice is up to you. I usually go with the first day of the month because I just think, and a lot of companies I talk to will use that first or that 15th of the month. It just seems to be the most common thing.
Um,
And oh, go
so
ahead.
can you explain the difference of what's an invoice reminder and then what is an auto invoice?
Absolutely. So a invoice reminder is just going to send out a reminder for a unpaid invoice, and that's only going to be in essence one invoice. If somebody has multiple invoices that are not paid, they're going to get reminders for each one of those invoices that is not paid. Auto invoicing, what that does is that at this frequency, it's going to send a summary of all of the outstanding invoices to the customer. So that way, they can go into their customer portal if they've set that up and pay all of those off, or they can call in and say, "Hey, I just got the summary of all of our outstanding invoices. I'd like to pay them." And I've shown within our office staff training how to go ahead and do batch invoicing as well as batch payments. So that's really the difference between the two. Auto invoicing is the summary of all outstanding invoices. Invoice reminders is strictly single invoices that have not been paid.
So invoice reminders are going to be for your just forgetful customers, and then auto invoicing is going to be more geared towards if you have like regular service that you do and you're generating a lot of invoices within that period of time for that specific customer.
Yeah, I see that a lot with a lot of cleaning companies. They have some kind of deal with a building or some company where they come in and clean, 3 days a week, every week. So instead of issuing 3 invoices a week, they just go ahead and set this up. So at the beginning of the month, company gets the break, not really the breakdown, but the summary of all of their outstanding invoices, and they can go ahead and reach out to make payment.
Awesome.
Cool, cool. Yep, and I think, oh, sorry, the customer portal. So within your account settings, you will find the option for customer portal. And in here, same idea, making it nice and easy, portal automations. And really, it's just these two, similar to how the invoice reminders were. It's really just a switch for you. So you can automatically send the customer portal invite email when a job is scheduled. So this is really good for your first time customers. If you are new to Housecall Pro, is going ahead to turn this on so customers can understand where they can go to pay their invoices, see their appointments, and if you do service plans, they can see what service plans they're on and that service plan schedule. Again, we did a deep dive going into what customers can see and what they can do in the customer portal. Strongly recommend you check out that session. And as more things get added to it, I'm sure we'll do a refresher at some point. The other thing is automatically include the customer portal login link in job, invoice, and estimate emails. I think that's a great thing to turn on so that way customers, once they get the email for their estimate, their job, or their invoice, they have a link right there. It's almost, dummy proof that says click here to go ahead and make your payment, or click here to go into your customer portal and see your invoice or estimate. So I think that's very useful. I think everybody should have this turned on, but if you don't want to, don't let me stop you.
And the customer's just logging in with a magic link. They don't need a username or a password or email and password. It's just like Phil said, they just click a button in the email and it's all together in one place.
Right. Yeah. So they don't need a login, anything like that. That's a common question I get. Um, People are worried about setting up their billing because of that. That's Shane said it best. It's just a link they click on, they can go in and make their payments. All right. So that's everything I had to demo. Let's take a look at some of these questions.
Oh, did you go over the lead form?
We did a couple sessions ago.
Okay. Okay. I was just gonna call out the automation with the lead form. If you put the lead form on your website, which everybody should have it because they have a contact form already, and then when that customer fills that information out, it goes directly into your Housecall Pro account, and with the pipeline, they it can automatically follow up with the customer like Phil was showing earlier. So definitely check out the lead form session. I'll drop the link to the other sessions right now.
Yeah, I think that was one of our shorter sessions. People who haven't seen it strongly recommend checking it out. Really isn't that much to it. It's really just when you set it up and add it to your website, it allows customers to basically do a little bit of an intake and be able to get into the system so that you can reach out and go ahead and get them scheduled or get an estimate out to them. Um, but all right, I do see I got a question here on the essentials plan. So pipeline feature included or not, and how much is it? I'm trying to remember because I know
So
there's
the pipeline is a tiered pricing. So if you're on basic plan, it's $25. If you're on essentials, it's $50. If you're on max, it's $75, and max plus is $100. If you go into your my app section of your account and you search for pipeline, then you can activate a 30-day trial. Everyone should have pipeline. There's some companies it
oh
doesn't
sorry.
work for. Yeah, that's payroll.
Pipeline, there it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. So you just click on view details and then it'll say activate 30-day free trial.
Yep. Um, Yeah, I like the pipeline. I've talked to people that aren't as crazy as I am about it. I'm just a very visual person, and I also like having time in my day. So I think though, whenever I talk about the pipeline, those are the two things I talk about. Um, but all right, I will go ahead and switch over to some of the prepared questions we had. Certainly feel free to ask questions in the chat. I will come back to those. We do get a lot of questions this week. First couple of questions are in regards to the text messaging. First question, can I change my custom text messaging number? So when you are setting up your text messaging, you can only pick one number. Once it's picked, you cannot make changes. So I always tell everybody is make sure that you are picking the right area code that you want to have presented to your customers so that they can see that it's a local number. Um, I do know that if you do get the VoIP feature, once you have VoIP set up, and if you port your business line over, you can set up a unified number so that your VoIP system as well as your text messaging are the same number.
That's a
Uh,
really good call out. And I just also want to add, because I don't feel like everybody knows this, if your customer calls that text messaging phone number, they're gonna get routed to your business line that you have listed anyways. So don't worry about it being like a different number. They'll still be able to contact you.
Yep. That's a good call out. Looks like somebody was asking that too. But yeah, that's how I get everybody comfortable with setting up their text messaging. Really, we set it up so you don't miss any calls. People feel a little worried about setting that up because they're like, oh, well, we just want to advertise our number. I tell them, think about it if you're in an area that has like Uber Eats or DoorDash or anything like that. Usually they have those automated text messages that go out to you that say like, drivers on the way, somebody is making your order. Um, you wouldn't necessarily call that number back. I know that's not their business number, but it's just letting me know. So we kind of made it a little bit foolproof. So if somebody should call that number, you don't miss any calls. Next question we have here is who receives the replies to the text messaging? So for that, if a job is in progress, the text message goes to the tech. I do also know that in the office they're able to see these as well, your POC. But if the job is not in progress, those replies are going to go to your point of contact, which you set up in your employees section. You can only have one at this time. And if you do not have a point of contact set up, it just goes to the whoever owns the account as the original admin or the original owner of the company. Next question, can I include tech photos in SMS notifications? Yep, you certainly can. When you do set up your text messaging, there is, when you're looking at the three text messages in the text messaging section, there is a little switch right above it that says if you want to show the technician picture or not. When you set up your employees, you do need to include their photos in order for it to work. So once you put their photo attached to their profile and you turn that switch on, customers will be able to see that photo.
And that's going to be, say you have two employees on the job, right? Then it's gonna show whoever selects on my way first.
Yeah, good call out. Um, and kind of with the text messaging is when, if you do have a group that is going out, it's always going to be the first person that hits on my way. That text message is going to go out. Everybody else, that's not going to happen. Can I change the time and frequency of the SMS job reminders? At this time, the answer is no. It's always going to be 9 a.m. local time, no matter where you are. This cannot be customized in terms of timing. All right, last one for text messaging. What if my customer isn't receiving SMS reminders? If that's the case, usually a customer is opted out of the text messaging communications. If they want to receive them again, they can always reply with start to the original text message to opt them back in.
And you'll be able to identify that in their thread inside of your inbox. If they've opted out, it'll have like a bubble in red that says opted out.
Yeah, you can see it in their customer profile. Yeah, that's the spot you would see it. Okay, now we're getting into pipeline automations. How do I specify a time frame for automation, hours, weeks, months? So as I showed, it's really days, and some of them do have it set for months. Really, if you want to do like hourly, you're going to have to do decimals. We really are just working with whole numbers because we're talking about weeks and days. So if you want it to be sent at, noon the following day, a day and a half that goes by, you're going to want to put in 1.5.
Hmm,
Um,
interesting.
so
Know that.
yeah, just kind of pointing that out. Um, Next question, will automation messages be sent to customers who have notifications turned off? I did kind of go over this already. You can override people that have text messaging or notifications turned off. Each automation allows you to check the box so that you can go ahead and override that. Will automated follow-ups be sent as texts or email notifications? I showed that you can have one or the other or both. It's really up to you. What is required for invoice reminders to be sent? For that, the invoice must be marked as finished and have a due date, a balance that is greater than $0, and it must have been sent to the customer. So you actually have to hit the send invoice button to go ahead and trigger the invoice reminders.
We have a live question. We have a real question from somebody that's here. Christina, in regard to the customer portal, can you go over this a little? So, yeah, people really want to know what it looks like before they turn it on. This is something I highly recommend that everybody has a test customer inside of their account and you use it for testing so that you can see like what the email looks like that your customer gets when they get invited to the portal. Can we show her what it looks like?
Sure. Let's see.
And I was a customer to somebody who was actually using Housecall Pro, and I had gotten the invite to the customer portal. So I was just looking like for a real live situation, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I'm looking for an email in mine. Usually get rid of them.
So
Uh,
you can go, can you share your Housecall Pro account that you have up?
yeah.
Okay. She said we sent it to our dummy account. Yes. So if you just go into a customer, any customer, pick a customer, any customer, and you can invite, you can see right there, you can send any customer an invite to the portal if you don't want to turn on the automations to invite everybody. So on your dummy account, you can send the invite, you can check it out, play with it, see what it looks like, see if that's something that's going to work for your business. Good question.
Okay. Yeah. And as I finally found an email, and as I'm clicking on it, it's saying it doesn't uh exist, so I probably paid this off. I would strongly recommend just taking a look at our customer portal session because I really kind of dove in there and explained everything that's in there.
Okay.
But
Can they make or cancel appointments in the portal? N- No, that has to be done through the online booking page in order to make appointments.
right. Um,
You're welcome.
okay. Let's see. I know we're getting close on time. Um, how do let's see. When when do they start going out? How do I stop invoice reminders from sending to my customers? Once the invoice is marked as paid, that will stop reminding them. Or if you're asking broadly how to just simply turn them off, you go to the section within the account settings that I showed you all, and you can just simply go ahead and turn them off. Um, what happens if I manually send an invoice again? Shayna and I were basically talking about this is that it cancels the previous frequency um, and starts the new one. Oh, I'm sorry. Um, well, yes, if you're talking about the same invoice, if you go ahead and resend it to a customer, it is going to restart the automation. So you'll be, in my case, it will start up with those 5 reminders again, going out every 3 days. So every time you manually send it, it will start back at the beginning of the automation frequency that you set up.
There's
Uh,
a few more questions in the chat here.
mhm.
Is it going to be all attachments slash photos when attachments are sent in the portal? I'm honestly not sure. I think that's a feature that we don't actually have yet, but is coming. Do you know?
It so the pictures aren't, as far as I know, the pictures aren't going to show up in the portal. But when you do send off an invoice or an estimate, you can always add photos as an attachment. So the customer can always look back at the email and view those attachments. But in terms of the portal, as far as I know, that there aren't pictures in the portal. That's great feedback that we can give to our product managers for improvement.
And that's something that we're working on because one of the main issues or one of the main features that Company Cam has is that you can send them a link and it has all the attachments and it's super easy without sending an invoice. So HCP Cam is going to be, you don't have to have HCP Cam to be able to do that, but that's one of the reasons why we're adding it. So that's in the works. It should be very soon that we're going to have that ability. So not yet, but it will. And then per the email sent to the customer from Portal Link, yes. So it's a magic link. It will expire because there's no username and password. So what you can do is customers can just log into their portal if you're going to use the portal. You have the ability to add that to your website and customers can pay their invoices, see any jobs that are coming up right from the portal that you have on your website.
Yep, yep. Um, that is a good call out. Our email reminder sent to the email on the profile or the email on the initial invoice email as we changed who sent the invoice like and so it goes to who the email that is on that customer's account, that customer profile. So if that changes, it's going to go to the changed email address.
Wait, so just to clarify, so the email reminders, if you say you have one email that's in there in the customer profile, but you're changing that when you're sending the invoice. And so the reminders are going to trigger to the new manually put email in there. Or we're not sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading the other question.
Oh, okay. So if you manually change that email, it's not saved in the customer profile, but you manually change the email. Will the reminders are triggering to that new email that's not saved in the profile?
That's actually a good question. I've never tested that, but my understanding on how the system works is that it would go to the one that is on the profile.
Okay, we're gonna clarify that. Diane, really great question. You have stumped us. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna find out and I'll follow up with you because I think that it goes to the manually entered email and it's triggering on a drip from that email. So yeah, great one. What's your email, Diane, so I can get a hold of you? Can you DM it to me? Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. And then the last couple of questions here. I know we're getting to the top of the hour here. Who receives the invoice reminders? If I emailed it to multiple addresses, that's kind of what we just established. Um, we're gonna get back to that one. How will I know if a reminder is sent? That's a good question. You can always go to the job and look at the activity feed to see if a invoice has been opened or not, and you can also see when it has been sent. Are invoice reminders compatible with batch invoices or invoicing? Currently, the answer is no. Invoice reminders are only for single invoices. If you're doing those batches, remember to use auto invoicing if they are comfortable with the summaries and not necessarily paying them all off. If you want to do batch invoicing and have them pay them all at once, that needs to be done manually.
Yeah, that's a
If
little confusing. So if it's unclear, then what should they do? Post in the group so that we can help you.
Right, and then the last question that was prepared was about the customer portal. Um, what customer portal automations are available? It's really, as I demoed, just for them to be for it to be on every document so that they can go in, and as well as to turn it on. So whenever we send a job scheduled, there will be a link that goes to their customer portal.
All right, is that it? Is that all the questions?
That's all the ones that were pre-prepared. I don't see any new ones coming in.
Oh, I do see one. I see one last one. This is going to be our last one. For reference, some text will modify, upload mod serial numbers of parts into the customer's service appointment for our reference. Would those same pictures be sent in the portal in the gallery section? So any of the attachments, the photos that are on the job are going to show up in the customer profile under the attachments section. Soon, you'll be able to go to that attachment section, select all the photos that you want to share with the customer, and send them to the portal. Right now, it's not like that. It's not built yet because we don't want to just automatically share all the photos that your techs take with the customer. They don't need to see all that. So you'll be able to select and send. I want to say by the end of July, but don't quote me on that. And I do. Okay, got you. Okay, we got one. We're gonna take one more question. Do you have to have a credit card on file in order to send auto invoices?
Yes
No.
or no?
No, it's just a summary. It's not a payment. It's not like, hey, pay this. It's like they can't pay it like that. They still got to call in or, right? They can't pay the summary. Okay,
No.
that's what I thought. I know the whole thing of the
Mhm.
auto invoicing, it's always been super confusing. So, thank you everybody for showing up to Pro Power Hour. We have over 50 people here, which is crazy how this webinar has grown over time. Tell your friends, tell your employees, tell everybody to come to Pro Power Hour and learn something new. And I do want to call out before we end the webinar, we're having a video contest. So that is posted in the Housecall Pros Facebook group. The top 5 videos are gonna win a $250 Yeti cooler. And then anybody who submits a video is going to get the don't forget to hit on my way, start finish sticker bundles that you guys have been wanting so badly. I have them ordered. They're ready. However many trucks you have, you got 50 trucks, I'm gonna give you 50 of those don't forget stickers and the powered by Housecall Pro bumper stickers just for submitting. This is the easiest video recording ever. It's introducing yourself and welcoming somebody new to the Housecall Pro community. So thank you guys. Thanks for
Mhm.
being here. And we'll see you guys for next Pro Power Hour Thursday. Take care.
Sounds good. Bye.